This is the Sports Gambling Podcast live on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Here are your hosts, Sean Green and Ryan Kramer. I can't believe we're letting these guys on my network.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Gambling Podcast live. Sean, second money Kramer with my partner in picks, Ryan, real money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
I did not hit any of my made cut parlays. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, I had we had Fred Couples, which was a bit of a sweat. And then who else? Fitzpatrick, unfortunately, did make the cut. He kind of blew up the parlay. But that was certainly one that we were hoping to hit. Of course, on the line, CJ Sullivan from the Bottom Line Bombs podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. CJ, hats off to you on your Justin Rose first round leader. Nice little cash. What'd you get that 60-1?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, 60-1. You know, it's kind of a ho hum first round leader when it comes to Justin Rose. Actually, I saw that people online were like, "That was an easy bet. He's done it 5 times." Okay, well then you throw down a 60-1 bet. Like, what are you talking about? Now it is. I agree. It's a dart throw. It's a first round leader bet, but I like to call it a sharp dart. It's a sharp dart.
Well, and
it is a dart throw, but that dart's a sharp. It's a metal dart. It's not a plastic dart.
and I agree. Yeah, it's like maybe one of those blowguns because you gotta. And some were saying that you had to be psychic to see that result coming. I think we have the tweet here. Miss Pam Maldonado tweeted out that you basically have to be psychic to have seen that coming. And then CJ responded with his clip of him hitting the first round 1-2 exacta.
Well played.
She did.
Sir.
Yeah. Well, she did an obvious engagement tweet with that. So I like to fight engagement with engagement. So I'm going to go ahead and plug my product to her. And she replied back with a comment so bland. Like, I'm like, oh, she must be a robot. This must be a bot. Like the Pam Maldonado bot. God bless her.
Right.
Not that they offered the exacta market, but I hit the 1-2 on the first round leader. I gave out Justin Rose and Corey Connors, and they came in 1-2. I'm granted he was tied for second, but still.
That would have been. Why not?
Nice.
Why not? Sportsbooks offer the 1-2 first round leader market.
I mean, it does seem like
one's too easy for me.
It also just seems like the exact. Why haven't they thought of that yet?
Right.
Yeah, I know some places they don't do the dead heat market. That would certainly eliminate if you had the 1-2. Make it a little try box or something.
I mean, you could still have dead heat in those scenarios.
You're right. The odds would just be longer.
You just got to treat it like a pari-mutuel pool. You know, you got your exacta pool, and the winner gets the money. And sorry if I seemed distracted on the top of the segment there. I was firing off a Bryson, Scotty Scheffler, Jason Day, all to have an eagle parlay.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's cool. 125-1. No big deal.
CJ, let's say some of your outright bets like Tommy Fleetwood and Xander Schauffele aren't looking too good. What is something people could hop in on Saturday, round 3, maybe the rest of the way out? What are you looking to bet here?
I got a couple bets here. I got an outright winner for you. Tough. I got a matchup. I got a couple props you could still get in on. Pick your poison when it comes. There's so much more betting opportunities. I heard your partner say he's out on the Masters. Sorry to hear that because there's such a great menu in front of us, so we can still get in there. Now, this is a very tight bunch leaderboard. There's a lot of people up there. Now, there's 7 players all within 3 shots of Justin Rose, who's the leader by 1 at 8 and under. 10 players within 4 shots, which is. This is an abnormal amount of golfers all bunched up together. So that makes this prop bet, which is pretty juicy. It's kind of around the same price as almost was pre-flop. Will there be a playoff in this Masters? Is plus 400 is to the yes. Now with 10 golfers within 4 shots and 7 within 3, this is highly likely. We haven't had one in a while. That's why it's kind of like a thing for overtime. But I mean, at plus 400 and it was around plus 550 pre-flop, I still think this is great value to get in there with such a jumbled up leaderboard. So that's why I'm starting off with your top prop plus 400.
Yeah, to me,
well, that makes my Bryson to win in playoff plus 120 pre-flop seem like a bad price.
Wait, plus 120. You had it
plus 120 to 1.
Yeah, Kramer had it 120 to 1.
So I need to get
a win in a playoff.
So I can just get playoff for 400 to 1 now.
No, 4
you
to
get
1.
that right now.
No, 400 to 1.
400 to 1. You said, CJ?
No, not 400 to 1. Plus 400.
Yeah, come
plus
on.
400.
Oh,
4 to 1.
I love my position.
Yeah,
I take
Yeah,
back
you got
what
a great number. I was just going to
Sorry.
say 120 to 1 is a great number.
I think I
No,
just started seeing red. We're like, why did I bet
No,
this?
if it was 400 to 1, I wouldn't be doing the segment with you right now. I'd be in Vegas. I'd be on the road driving to Circa, and I'd maybe swing by the studio in Eagle Rock to pick up your cash if you want to make this bet. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be here wasting my time with you, mops. If there's a 400 to 1 bet to make there for a playoff, no, 4 to 1, I still like that. Now let's get into the outright. That's what you want. You want a fresh outright to root for? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, come on. Or to me, the move is to fade Justin Rose. I see his over under is for Saturdays at 72.5. Doesn't he start giving it back? It's Justin Rose. Look at all those big dogs up top.
There's a lot of big dogs up top, but I will say that Justin Rose disrespect is palpable. I mean, this guy's leading the Masters, and look at him. He's at 8 to 1 to win it. Minus 105, top 5. I mean, that's pretty absurd. And I mean, everyone else is plus 250, minus 250, minus 225, and he is the leader. Now, people it's funny because they just expect, that's what he does. He leads the first round and then he falls apart. He just doesn't have what it maintains. And because he is doing it by putting, and he's great by putting, I think he's like plus 7.5 his putts gained, whatever. So that's not sustainable, as they say. They say it's unlucky, but it's Justin Rose, and he's getting hot with the putt. I mean, he's putting well. It's not just like he's getting lucky long putts. He's a hot putter, and that's what he does well. So if anything, I'm looking to buy on Justin Rose just because of the numbers you're getting on him and the value. Now, if you want to sprinkle 8 to 1, he's not my outright that I would like to do. I wouldn't mind him at minus 105 for a top 5. I have a matchup play on Justin Rose I actually like a lot for tomorrow round. It's minus 140, but against Matt McCarty, it was a fun story for crying out loud. But this is exactly the kind of guy you want to fade. Matt McCarty, Justin Rose has been there year in, year out. Matt McCarty was on the Corn Ferry Tour 6 months ago. He won the Black Desert on it, and he won the Wyoming State Open. Good for him. He was a story out there in Circa. He was 750 to 1 pre-flop in this tournament. Yeah. Some guy put a bet on him.
There's a bet out there that if he wins, if he somehow pulls it off, Circa's on the hook for $2 million. That's insane.
Yeah, pretty amazing. That'd be awesome. But at the same time, I think it's unlikely. He had he's 71. I mean, he's not bad. I'm not saying he's bad. He won his way through the Corn Ferry Tour. He won 3 tournaments in 1 year, which isn't too often. But he started off double bogey. Then he had 8 birdies in the next 17 holes. But here's a sign I like to look at once he started feeling that, then he bogeyed on 18, which might have been a sign that comes like, oh, this is where things are about to come when reality started setting in. And one of his birdies was like a 29-foot putt. There was a lot of those going in there. He was hot. He played great, and that's what he can do. He's a feast or famine kind of golfer. I think once and now it gets past the cut line Saturday. Now you got a heads up versus him versus the leader of the Masters, Justin Rose. Give me Justin Rose all day in that.
Ooh, love it. Do you have it? Do you have an outright, CJ? I know you already got some sharp hit pocket plays, but you looking to add anything here coming into Saturday?
I added one guy in here, and I added him a little bit before yesterday, and that is Corey Connors. Corey Connors is tied for third. He's tied with Rory. He's at 6 under, which is 2 strokes back of the leader of Rose, who will fall apart as you predicted. And you got the DeChambeau at 7. I mean, at 12 to 1, he's Scheffler, Tyrrell, like Rory, they are plus 330, plus 360. And he's at the same score, if not above. He's a stroke above Scheffler. Corey Connors, his thing is, now he's got great driving accuracy. He's second in the tour in driving accuracy and greens in regulation, your favorite stat. So he's got all the numbers sustained. He's got 3 top 10s in the last 5 Masters. So he knows what he's doing there. His only knock is he doesn't win outright. Well, that's the knock until you do it. I mean, like, of course, that's no way. It's because he's not the same name as these guys. I think you're getting incredible value at 12 to 1 still, Corey Connors, for a guy who's basically 2 shots out of this, and he will be there at the end. I definitely trust him not to falter. And another one to back that up, his plus 140 at top 5 is a crazy price there. I love that hammer to kind of to back up your outright. Plus 140. I mean, look at the other guys ahead of him. I mean, ahead of him that he's ahead of and tied with on his leaderboard. Rory minus 250, Scheffler minus 225, Bryson minus 190. You're getting plus 150, 140 here for Connors being the top 5. He's in third right now, and he's going to stay there all the way through the tournament, at least you just don't know if he's going to win it. So at 12-1, I think is a great stab because he's got a legitimate chance of winning this.
What about our boy Shane Lowry, a real Irishman? CJ, does he have any? You interested in hopping him either outright, top 5, top 10, maybe a good round 3? Anything you find?
I don't like. Yes. Well, I love Shane Lowry, and I loved him pre-flop as well. And I hate to be one of these guys who come in and talk about what I have. Well, I don't want to touch it because I already have him at 40-1. You know what I mean? Not to call out other people on this VSiN show that like to do that, waste your time with that. Shane Lowry at 16-1, definitely worth stabbing at. He's like, listen, I mean, this is why I bet him to begin with. This is exactly the method I thought he would get to. He does that short increments. He gets there, and his game is playing exactly the way it is. The problem is this leaderboard is filled with such heavy hitters, but that's why you get good numbers. Even on Tyrell Hatton 20-1 and Lowry 16-1, like you said. That's why I like Connors, because you got to pay a premium for those names. Like even Mark Cowell would not play at 19-1 for where he's at.
All right. Yeah. Kramer, anything you plan on adding real quick?
Well, Lowry and I believe McCarty are playing together. No, I'm not adding anything. I'm rooting for no hole-in-ones. Still have a very large bet on that. Wish me luck.
Yeah. I'm riding out my Tommy Fleetwood, Xander to the grave. Knock on wood, they come through.
Maybe Jason Day a little bit. So, he's doing great stuff on YouTube. Shout out to the lab.
I like Justin Rhodes top 5, CJ. Appreciate you calling in. Make sure you subscribe to the Bottom Line Bombs podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. When we return, MLB picks with Scott Reichel from the MLB Gambling Podcast.
This is the Sports Gambling Podcast live on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Gambling Podcast live. I'm Sean Stacking on Green with my partner in picks, Ryan Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Oh boy, I made more Masters bets.
Really? What'd you get down?
I said I was out on it, and I'm back in.
What are you doing?
I told you I got a little Jason Day top 20 in pocket, so I'm going to back it up with a little outright.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to miss out. You 33-1 out there. So.
All right, yeah, a little sprinkle. He could get hot. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
He was wearing a sweater without sleeves today. The clothing is out of control.
Really, you got the guy with the upside down hat who was taking a leak in the creek, and apparently Masters people not.
Don't get me started. That was disrespecting this great country. He's a Spaniard.
Someone said that's holy water that he was urinating in. Joining us on the line, talk a little baseball, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line from the MLB Gambling Podcast, Mr. Scott Reichel, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Scott, did you have any Masters action as well?
Yes, but nothing that I want to talk about because it didn't go too well. I had Willett to miss the cut, and unfortunately, he eagled a par 4 in the middle of the round yesterday, and he eventually made the cut by the bare minimum. Finished plus 2. The cut was plus 2. And was not a fun time, but overall, not really that much on the Masters. I was focused more on tennis and the NBA and baseball. So,
yeah, NBA was a crazy night. You just tweeted out all these. I think it was every double-digit favorite in the NBA covered tonight. It's wild. This game and then or today, all these games, and then the entire league plays again on Sunday. And it's certainly kind of weird situations where the favorites have just been crushing.
Yeah, well, you have to worry about motivation because most of the teams don't care. A couple do. There were 8 favorites by game time. There were 9, including overnight, if you include the Thunder. And it went 9-0, including the Thunder ATS. So if you blindly backed all the motivation angles for the better teams, you hit yourself a hell of a parlay. I'm assuming the public dominated today in the NBA, and I'm assuming that the sports books didn't do too well.
Yeah. As Joe Q Public, I was 5-1. So yeah, it was a good day to be square. But we're here talking a little MLB. We'll let you start, Scott. What's jumping out at you on your board there for the Saturday slate?
Yeah, so I'll start off with a couple team totals. I'm going to go to the Angels game against the Astros. Give me the Angels team total over 3.5 runs. I see minus 133. They scored at least 4 runs in 9 of their last 10. Angels quietly hitting for a lot of power. A lot of guys contributing, not just Trout this time around. They have Paris, who is a relative unknown, who's had a monster start to the season. Ohapi's been good. Ward had 2 home runs the other day. Adele did the same thing. And you're looking at Gusto, who's pitching for Houston. He has not pitched more than 3 innings in a single appearance this season, so I do question how long he's going to actually go. If you're going to give me an offense with 9 guaranteed at bats being the road team, scoring 4+ in 9 of the last 10, minus 133 to do it again, I think it's a good deal. Give me the Angels at team total over 3.5 as my first choice.
I know Cubs are coming to town here in LA, squaring off against the Dodgers. Dodgers got their, got off to such a hot start, and then the Phillies roughed them up. The Nats took care of them. Now they're back home against the Cubs. Anything you like there, Cubs Dodgers?
Yeah, I like the over in this game at 8.5. Pretty low-scoring game on Friday. I think it'll become a high-scoring game here on Saturday. Cubs are second in the league in runs per game. The Dodgers are 8th. You have 2 pitchers who I'm not really sold by right now. You have Brown pitching for Chicago, who's been awful. 11 2/3 innings pitched, 11 runs allowed. Sasaki, the big Japanese addition during the offseason, is pitching for the Dodgers. Has not been very good. So far this season, 8 2/3 innings pitched, a 2.08 whip. Bunch of guys on base. Walks a lot of guys. That can be a bit of a problem, and the Cubs do walk a lot. I see a lot of base runners, a lot of, I'd say, poor pitches in this one. I think 8.5 is too low. Give me the over 8.5 in that game.
Scott, I know, or something that's been on my radar has been this the Athletics, like how they're playing in this minor league park. Guys have just been crushing the ball, the overs. I forget what the exact number was, but it was like a crazy run. Mets A's total. Obviously, it's in Sacramento. There, it's set at 9.5. Have you been playing any of these overs? Have you gotten down on any of these Athletics overs in that park?
Yeah, it's mostly every game. I'm blindly looking at the over for those teams. It went over again tonight. Mets do lead 7-4 in the 9th inning right now. For the pitching matchup, you have Peterson is pitching for the Mets. Who's pitching for the A's? I got no idea. They haven't announced who's pitching yet for some reason, so we'll see who goes. But I feel like it's been a common theme so far. We know the A's were in a very low-scoring environment back in Oakland. Now in Sacramento, a lot of fans are there, a lot of souvenirs, mostly for the other team, to be honest, but still. I don't mind blindly considering the over. Peterson so far this season's been fine. The A's, though, I don't know who's pitching, but Peterson's allowed a lot of base runners. He's walked 8 guys so far in the season. So I feel like, once again, you can consider the over. Maybe you want to wait for the actual confirmation on who's pitching for the A's, but no reason to, fix what isn't broken. So I'll go back to the over.
Yeah. I'm gonna add that to my card. We'll break it down when we talk best bets, but Phillies, my Phils squaring off against the Cardinals in St. Louis. You like anything there, Scott?
Yeah, I'll go with the first 5, minus half a run here for Philly, a minus 108. Cardinals have lost 5 of their last 7, including the win they actually had on Friday, which is a very low-scoring game, 2-0. Mikolas, though, is pitching for St. Louis. On the MLB Gambling Podcast, we have faded him for a long time. He's not good, once again, this season. 8 innings, 11 runs allowed. You have Sanchez, though, pitching for Philadelphia. St. Louis has not been good against him. 13 career plate appearances against him, an on-base percentage below 100. So I think Sanchez will pitch well in this matchup. St. Louis has not been hitting that well over the last couple games, and Mikolas gives up a ton of contact. I see a lot of power bats on Philly having a solid game here. I think it's a good price. I'll give me the Phillies first 5 minus half a run at around minus 108.
So yeah, the logic there is what you want to avoid the Phillies bullpen. That's always seems to be a struggle for the Phils.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's mostly wanting to fade Mikolas. I feel like at the end of the day, the Phillies have not actually done that well in St. Louis over the years, but I'd rather just isolate the starting pitchers here. I think Sanchez is much better than Mikolas. I think the Phillies offense, at least on paper, is much better than St. Louis. I'll just back that angle. I'll ignore the bullpens. I'll just fade Mikolas.
Fair enough.
Will you be tallying?
Oh,
as a big baseball Phillies fan.
Well,
as soon as he saw Phillies on the card, he already was penciling it in. I saw.
Yeah, come on. So it's easy. It's easy handicapping. Are the Phillies playing? Yeah. Well, then I'll probably sprinkle.
Okay.
What's he supposed to root for now? You got the Sixers. You have the Flyers. All you got left right now is the Phillies. You're just going to keep backing them every game. Oh, come on,
Scott. When you take home a Lombardi Trophy, that glow that you get to as a Jet. Don't make me bring up the Jets, Scott, because I'm
just saying you're just waiting for the draft right now. Like you have no other teams right now that you really care about besides the Phillies.
No, there's not much going. Thankfully, the The Sixers are just like a wounded animal that they're slowly. I just want them put down to sleep at this point. But hilariously, they have a shot to get Cooper Flag, which would just be an all-time tank
double
job
Coopers. Cooper DeJean, Cooper Flag. That'd be a big.
Oh yeah.
And by the way, I mean, what Sean is sad about is that the Philadelphia Stars were taken away from him, and no more Blob.
Yeah, spring football. Go back to the spring football. Philadelphia Stars used to have a team. They got that team stripped of them. So shout out to them. They had a mascot called the Blob. It was hands down the worst mascot of all time.
But a real sports town wouldn't have lost the football team.
I guess so. I think
they lost two because they lost the Arena League team like a couple years ago too, didn't they?
Yeah. No, it's not like they lost a franchise. It was the leagues. Both times the leagues folded for financial, shenanigans. We'll say. So I don't know if it's definitely on Philly and their lack of loving.
That's actually a good PSA. Basically, every semi-pro or sub NFL league we've ever covered has been a Ponzi scheme.
They eventually just pack up, folded it. Scott, I also have to. I see you got one more play here, but Scott. You are a young person. You love baseball. Why did baseball stick for you and not other young people? Speak for the young people in America. How do we get your fellow young people watching baseball?
Well, I'm 27, so baseball was kind of popular in my house growing up. I'm not that young at this point, but I feel like a big reason for it, to be completely honest, the Yankees were good at baseball. I grew up around the right time when the Yankees were winning World Series all the time. So my dad was a big Yankees fan, and we just watched it all the time. I feel like it kind of comes down to who controls the remote in the household growing up. If your parents care about a certain sport, you're probably going to watch that sport a lot, and then you're going to grow into it when you get older. If you end up being in a household that really ignores baseball or any other sport, I doubt you're going to go out of your way to watch it. So to answer your question, it was not really up to me. My dad loved the Yankees, and I watched the Yankees a lot. That's kind of how it went.
I'd say on the East Coast, very normal for I knew a lot of people where the mob of the house is like, I'm going to sit down and watch the Yankee game, or I'm going to sit down and watch the Bruins game or Devils, whatever it is. Like watching that nightly game was almost like replace Jeopardy with some, sports in the background.
That's a family tradition. Scott, 20 seconds. You're on the clock. Tigers money line. Why do we like it?
Yeah, so I'm going to fade, in my opinion, one of the worst pitchers in the league. I'm going to fade Paddock, who's been terrible. 7 1/3 innings, 13 runs. Tigers have won 6 of 7. Twins have lost 5 of 6. I'll back the hotter team with, once again, fading a terrible pitcher. Give me the Tigers money line at a good price.
This is the Sports Gambling Podcast live on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Gambling Podcast live. I'm Sean, second Money Kramer with our partner on pick, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
12 days, 18 hours, and 30 minutes till the NFL draft, Sean.
Oh, all right.
Pretty close. I mean, it's the next big fun thing to talk about in the offseason. Then we get to make our grades, do draft
schedule
grades,
release.
Then the schedule release.
Then the countdown to
then slow motion camp. Sprinklers and fat
mini
guys
camp.
running on grass.
Yeah. So there is no off season in the NFL off season, and time for a little shred or save where we give each other hypothetical future tickets. This time focused on the NFL draft, and you can either keep that ticket because you think it's a good bet, or you can put it in the shredder. You know it's already gonna not come through, so save yourself the time and the worry and just shred it instantly. Kramer, do you want to go first?
All right. I have 2 here.
Okay.
But one I think kind of fits the mold of what you've been going after. We've been talking about the running back a lot. Omari and Hampton's prop, the second running back prospect, who I think it's fair to say is going to be a first round pick. It feels pretty locked in. Draft position set to 19.5, over minus 180, under plus 145. I'm going to give you the under plus 145.
Under plus 145. So for reference, the Broncos are at 20.
Yes.
The Dallas Cowboys are another team.
So the running back landing spots, Las Vegas at 6. Potentially the Saints once upon a time, the Bears at 10, maybe the Cowboys at 12, and then the Broncos probably at 20, or a mysterious team we don't know about. We know a number of teams have shown interest in Hampton. That's, I think, why he's shooting up the board. Specifically, we've seen the Commanders, some smoke around the idea of them going after one of these elite running back prospects.
Well, they're down to 29, so they would have to trade up. So you're giving me the under 19.5?
Yeah. I think the idea that there's a trade up for a running back this year in the first round is very real.
Yeah. I think, again, I think GT, I am of the mind that the running back hype is a little bit too much hype. That being said, at plus 145, I think there are a number of outs. And of course, as you notice, Ryan, Saquon Barkley, once he got to a good team, a good organization, helped carry the Eagles to a Super Bowl. So people are trying to chase that next great running back. So I'll keep the under 19.5. I'm not going to shred it.
Perfect.
And I can't have too much plus money prices at this point in the draft with just a lot of, this is all hype. There's no one's even really locked in. So any sort of plus money price for me feels pretty good. Ryan, I am going to give you a ticket. Armand Membu. His over is set at 6.5. I'm going to give you under 6.5 at plus 280. Are you going to shred that ticket or save it?
Shred it.
Wow. Just that beautiful winning ticket. Much like me when I returned CJ's UConn ticket to him, you are shredding that.
And that sound, when I first heard it, you always want to hear a couple gear turns. Make sure the whatever you stuck in the shredder isn't too thick. Hopefully you don't have a thick stack of losing tickets. But yeah, I mean, I think when you again looking at the board, it's kind of settling into me that I think probably New England not worried about arm length of Vrabel. A couple comments about arm length. I think the guard tackle out of LSU probably goes there. Jacksonville, as much as I didn't believe it at first, it seems pretty locked in. They're going to go defense here, probably Mason Graham. And so what you're telling me it's 6.5, right?
Yep.
And I don't think the Raiders are taking that lineman right there. So yeah, there's my shred logic. I feel like you're sad that I shredded the gift.
No, I would have accepted that gift because I think New England, I think that's a bit of a smoke screen saying they don't care about the arm length. And I don't think they're set on Will Campbell, especially at the price. I think Jacksonville also could need a tackle. Also the Jets even popping up to 6 with Vegas, I think is possible, or maybe even swapping at 5. I think that's a possibility. I think there's a number of ways. I think Membo could be the first offensive lineman drafted. So to get as under 6.5 at plus 280, that's a very generous gift.
That's all right.
You're just shredding.
Yeah, no, I'm completely fine shredding it. I think it probably is going to be worth nothing.
All right.
So
could be worth a lot though. At plus 280.
Could be worth a lot. Could also not be worth a lot. Would you like another one? Would you like, how about a quarterback one?
Yeah, I always love quarterbacks.
We were talking about him earlier. His number has sunk all the way to 24.5. Some fluctuation on the juice, but Jackson Dart to go over 24.5 is plus 140. Are you buying the noise, the build up to the quarterback? We're now within the 2-week period. It's time to start pumping these quarterbacks up the board. Are you buying it? We were talking to Colby earlier. The problem with taking a quarterback out of this system is they're not asked to do anything in the system. He's got a lot of experience, but Jackson Dart over 24.5. What do you think? So basically you'd have to miss obviously the Saints. You'd have to miss a random team we don't know about. Who someone might be trading up to Arizona's spot. You have Pittsburgh at 21. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to shred it. And I'll tell you why. The hype is always something you got to battle out, but I'll just start by this. To me is more of a game theory shred. Why I think there might actually be some value on under 24.5 at minus 175, because Saints to pick a quarterback, what's that price at? That's not that far off from minus 175. So if you talk about the Saints, the Steelers, someone trading up to get ahead of the Saints and the Steelers, even a team that you've been on, Ryan, the Rams, they're at 26. So if they want Jackson Dart, I think they realize they may have to trade up to get him. So them going from 26 into that under 24.5 range to get Dart, which they might have to do. I think that's a possibility as well.
You know what I'll say is I don't quite understand why the market's being made at 24.5.
Yeah.
To me, it makes more sense at 21.5, knowing the Steelers are kind of a point there. I think this Cardinal, like depending on how the draft falls, this Cardinals pick, we know they want to trade back like that. Keeping 16.5 in mind, that could be a trade up lever point in terms of wanting to get up ahead, whether it's for a quarterback or maybe it's the Broncos coming up for a running back. Interesting.
Well, the
Jackson Dart number is very interesting to me because I understand why teams are finding a way to like him and maybe like him more than Shedeur. At the same time, though, he is coming from an offensive system in college that it just there's a lot of questions. Like to me, if I'm waiting this long in the draft, maybe I'll wait a little bit longer. Take a Tyler shot.
So I think you mentioned Arizona, but I think Atlanta could be a trade up point as well because they don't have a lot of picks. I think they only have 4 picks in this draft. And they're right next to Arizona. So I think there's it could be a buyer's market where you could play Arizona against Atlanta. Atlanta kind of needs more picks, only having 4 picks in this draft. They might be willing to give you a better deal to get to 15.
We haven't discussed it, but is Green Bay in the quarterback market perhaps?
Ryan, you love trolling the Green Bay fans by saying, well,
the number is 24.5.
I'll say this. I didn't think they were in the quarterback market when they drafted Jordan Love. Yeah. And you could do worse than taking the under on these quarterbacks, right? Michael Penix. Remember last year?
Yeah.
People already forgot what a bonkers year last year was. They're like, oh no, this is different this year. We know we are locked in. They 1, 2, 3, 4. It's totally set. Lean into the unknown and get some plus prices.
So Shedeur. Yeah. His number's at 8.5. The over is -240.
Well, Ryan, are you giving me this ticket?
Go ahead. I was going to give you the over -240.
Okay, so I was going to give you the ticket.
Then you have to take it.
I was going to give you a Shedeur Sanders ticket at over -240.
I'll take 2 of them.
Okay.
This is. It seems obvious, right? The Saints are the first place he can go now. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, what you could do is you could take over 8.5, and then you could also take him at 17-1 to go to the Browns.
Yeah, or you don't have to do that. I mean, he might still go to the Browns too later on.
Yeah, or just bet him to go to the Browns.
I don't see a world. So I guess the one blind spot is does someone go to 8 because they think New Orleans is going to take him at 9?
Yeah, that's the only scenario. But I don't think the +190 from what we're hearing and from him taking meetings with the Steelers, he wouldn't be taking meetings with the Steelers if he had news that he was going to be a top 10 pick.
They weren't on the list to start with. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to lay I've been leaning into plus stuff all episode with the draft props, but over 8.5 for Shedeur -240, I think is a very solid play. We're gonna close things out with best bets when we return. Sports Gambling Podcast live here on VC.
This is the Sports Gambling Podcast live on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Gambling Podcast live. Sean, thank you. Me with my partner in picks, Ryan Reichel, Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
And I don't know if something's going on, Sean, but I'm seeing Jackson Dart to be the second quarterback is down to +170 in some places.
It's crazy.
So
now I'm telling you, the Todd McShay mock is rocking the draft world.
It only takes a couple. By the way, when's your mock coming out?
It was a combination. Well, I'll bring out my banner. You recall 2 years ago, I had the most accurate NFL mock draft as according to multiple grading sources. Printed up my own banner. I usually release it the week of, that Monday, Tuesday leading up. Like to get as much information as I can to guarantee accuracy for the viewers and listeners.
I like that.
Yeah.
So Monday before the draft, we can expect
Monday, Tuesday.
The answer key will be released.
Yeah, I'm pretty good for that. Hey, of course, closing it out here with Best Bets. That's right, Best Bets brought to you by G Bank, the official bank of VSiN. G Bank is up in the ante with up to $750 bonus for new G Bank Visa Signature Card customers. First new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening receive a $250 bonus. In addition, if you spend $50K on gaming and sports app loads within 30 days of the account opening, you'll receive another $500 bonus. That's potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now at vsin.com/gbank. That's vsin.com/gbank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. Kramer, Best Bets. Why don't you go first? What do you got for the show?
All right, we got shorter slate. Mostly because I very large bet on no hole in one in the Masters. So I'll be watching every hole somehow, just firing up the Masters app, refreshing, trying to see everyone's shot. We'll be fading that all weekend. Of course, I will be riding with my guy, Jason Day, plus 3,200. Pick that one up. That's it though. I'm out on golf. Other than that, we got UFL action. Give me the under in the Brahmas Panthers game. Feel as strongly about this under as I did about the Friday night Arlington Birmingham, and which, by the way, it's 35.5 now. That's fine. I have 36.5 in my pocket in case if anyone's wondering. Also, give me the St. Louis Battlehawks. They might not be the best team in the league. They definitely have the best home field edge in the dome there. Playing in front of 5-figure crowds, not something every team in the UFL can boast. Again, I got a 6.5 in the pocket, Sean, but I'm fine laying the full touchdown. Let's head over to the UFC. We're going to take Patty, the fatty batty, money line minus 148. I mean, seriously, if you're not familiar with this guy's game, just Google him, whether it's him throwing out the first pitch, him like doing YouTube videos about getting fat and then getting back in shape. He is a hilarious dude. And then let's head over to the draft. Colts first pick, an offensive lineman plus 300, a defensive lineman or edge plus 850. I love this one. This is just what they've been doing. I don't see them stepping out of line to take a tight end here. That just seems absolutely, especially for a team that has constantly had a pretty good tight end room with guys who weren't high draft picks, basketball conversions, etc. Last one, Sean. Give me a little Dylan Raiola doing his Patrick Mahomes impression down there in Nebraska. I like what Colby was saying. 70-1 for him to win the Heisman, and I'll back it up with 50-1 for Nebraska to win the Big Ten.
All right, lot to get to. First off, I'll give out my Heisman as a best bet. Menza, 200-1. Now the 1,000-1 ticket that the listener sent in, that was for Duke to win the national championship.
Oh,
I misread it.
Basketball or football?
Football. But I do like Menza Heisman 200-1. Fun little long shot there to start filling up your portfolio. Baseball, I'm stealing Scott's Phillies first 5, laying the half, and of course I got to go Mets A's over 9.5. I mean this like minor league ballpark angle is just
new Coors Field, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, come on, I'm going to be all over it. I will be tailing a couple of our buddy Gumby's UFC 314 plays. Reyes money line plus 136, and as Kramer gave out, Pimblett, aka Patty the Batty the Fatty, at minus 148, like that one as well. Going over to the UFL, I'm going to add one more in here. St. Louis Battlehawks lane 7. They are a beast at home. They didn't lose at all last year at home. Their first game so far this season, they won and covered easily. So I will take them laying the 6. CJ did a great job of laying out of the case of why you should be on the Memphis Showboats laying 6. It's more also just a fate of how bad this Roughnecks team is. Incredibly poorly coached. They're just a complete disaster. So, and then also the Brahmas Panthers under 35.5. Again, good angle by CJ that I'm co-signing. Their offensive coordinator just like skipped town with the play sheet. I don't know what they're going to do. Under 35.5, and you can't go wrong betting unders in the UFL. CJ had a couple overs in his card. I can't sign off on that. And then last but not least, a little golf play. a little sprinkle of haterade. Justin Rose over 72.5 round 3. He's 8 under the first 2 rounds. He's going to give back a little. So I think 73 or worse for Justin Rose. And then long shot NFL draft prop. Get it in now. Gene T to be drafted by the Denver Broncos 32-1. I think that was over on FanDuel. So Gene T to the Broncos, Justin Rose over 72.5. Patty -150, Reyes +136, Promise Panthers under 35.5, Showboats laying the 6, Battlehawks laying the 7, Menza Heisman 200-1, Mets A's over 9.5, and the Phillies in the first 5. Now that is a card, Ryan.
I forgot one.
Yeah.
Scotty, Jason Day, Bryson, all to have Eagles.
Really?
In the 3rd round, 125-1.
Really? Oh my God. I had a Bryson Eagle in round 1, didn't come home. So I'm a little jaded. So wait, sorry, you have Bryson,
Scotty, and Jason Day.
Bryson, Scotty, and Jason Day, all to have an Eagle.
All to have an Eagle.
Okay, that's a lot to ask.
Yeah,
it is 125-1
shot. It's one of those parlays they build for you. And you're like, hey, you like this? You want a piece of this?
Anytime the sportsbook is building you a parlay, it's good value.
Yeah, like if I'm going to a deli, I want my sandwich to be customized. Anyone who's ever been to a sandwich place with me understands. I'm not going to just take the pre-built parlay.
Yeah.
Except for this one, I took this.
What do we got coming up on the podcast this week? What can people expect for next Friday's show?
We are going to talk association, Sean.
Yeah, playing games start on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then right after that, or however many days that takes, and then real NBA playoffs kicking off right after that.
That's right. It's important to remind people, just because you play in the play-in tournament doesn't mean you made the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because those stats they're neither regular season stats nor playoff stats.
They're just in some sort of purgatory.
Yeah. It's very funny.
We'll also be, I'm sure we'll be hopping into the draft. UFL week 4, Sean, who can forget? We will be doing a special edition of SGP stories.
Oh, that's always fun.
Where we'll be reviewing the tape of when you went on Dr. Phil's show to defend sports gambling.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yes, you're watching a guy who was on an episode of Dr. Phil, hung out with or called in via Zoom. I actually ironically called in from a casino on Zoom to discuss. I was the guy making a case. It was a very funny episode. He's like, sports gambling are ruining lives. Some people think it's okay. Meet Sean. I'm like, sports gambling is pretty good. And you can have fun with it and be responsible. It was,
he once won $200,000.
Yeah, they did put that in. Appreciate that. And shout out to Dr. Phil, very complimentary of the show. So the rewatch is going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you check that out. And make sure you stay tuned to VSiN coming up tomorrow. You got the VSiN Weekend Morning Line with our buddy Tim Murray at 10 a.m. East. We'll see if he has any reaction to the bad beat judge siding with him. I can't catch a break in this bad beat legal system. After that, followed by Ready Set Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Samich. Good dudes there. And then live bet Saturday at 4:00 East. Sure, it will be a ton of master stuff. It's Master Saturday, and then closing it out on Sunday there with the NBA playoffs right around the corner. A lot happening, Ryan.
2 UFL games on Sunday morning.
2 UFL games. I don't know. I feel like we're the only guys on the network brave enough to cover the United Football League. Big thanks to all our guests, of course, Colby Dant, aka Pick Dundee, CJ Sullivan, Scott Reichel, and Daniel Gumby Vreeland. You can check out their podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Big thanks to producer Johnny, everyone behind the glass, making us look good. And as always,
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he's Ryan.
Also, thank you to the judge.
Kramer. Let it ride.